the very last tool that he used, that he felt like he had to use to save his own life.
His boss says it was his only option. Tonight, an investigation is underway after a sheriff's deputy shoots a suspect.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He has no weapon.
Dramatic video released today by the family of a North Carolina man killed by police from just moments after the shots were fired.
And it was just a matter of time. The Kentucky Police Department follows through on its warnings. The pranksters dressed as creepy clowns.
This is WKYT News at 5.
A man is in the hospital tonight after being shot by a Kentucky sheriff's deputy.
That shooting happened just before noon in Powell County in the Copper Creek Road area north of Clay City. The sheriff's office says the deputy used his taser, baton, and pepper spray during a fight with a suspect, but none of them slowed him down. That's when the deputy fired his gun. WKYT's Hillary Thornton is tracking the investigation in our top story at 5.
The chief deputy here in Powell County says the officer involved in this shooting used all possible tools on his belt. However, after all of those were unsuccessful and the 30-year law enforcement veteran feared for his life, he was forced to use that last remaining tool, his handgun.
This deputy sheriff done exactly what he was trained by the Department of Criminal Justice Training Center to do.
This whole thing starting with a call about a suspicious man in someone's yard out along Coppers Creek Road. The suspect then refusing to give the first deputy on scene his name, then running off. Another deputy coming to provide backup, then following the man we are told is 41 years old. The deputy asking the man to get on the ground. After refusing to stop, they say he was tased. Chief Deputy Williams says the suspect then tried to pull out the prongs of the taser, so the deputy got on top of the suspect, again tasing him. They say the suspect, much larger than the deputy, then stood up with the deputy on his back, throwing him off, then taking off again.
They finally got to a corner of a fence row, and when they did, the guy sat down and said, "I got arrested," and he said, "No, get on the ground, you're under arrest." And the guy got up and began a physical altercation with the deputy.
At that point, the deputy, fearing for his life and unsuccessfully using his taser, pepper spray, and baton, the deputy using his gun, shooting the suspect in the chest.
And even after he was hit in the chest, he crossed the fence that was there and went down. And while the deputy was there waiting on backup and the ambulance crew to get there, he laid there and smoked a cigarette.
The deputy involved in this shooting is now on administrative leave while Kentucky State Police investigates the shooting. In Powell County, Hillary Thornton, WKYT.
Powell County deputies say they are not familiar with the suspect, but say he does have a long criminal history in other counties. He has a warrant out for his arrest in Clark County for a probation violation.
There is new video of Tuesday's deadly police shooting of a man in Charlotte, North Carolina. The video was recorded by Keith Scott's wife, who was nearby as police officers opened fire. Its release comes after 3 nights of violent protests over Scott's death. CBS's Kenneth Craig has the latest from Charlotte.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He has no weapon.
As she recorded her husband Keith's final moments, Rakia Scott pleaded with police not to shoot him. She told them he had a traumatic brain injury and posed no threat.
He doesn't have a gun. He has a TBI.
The Scott family attorney released the video. It shows officers surrounding Scott in his car. Rakia told him to obey the officers, who are heard telling him to drop a gun.
Don't you do it. Keith! 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 Don't you do it! Did you shoot him? Did you shoot him?
Scott is then seen lying on the ground.
You better be alive. How about that?
The video's unexpected release came after 3 nights of violent protests in Charlotte.
Many of those protests here were motivated by the community's demand to release body and dash cam video of the shooting.
Charlotte's police chief said he would not release the videos, which are now in the hands of state investigators.
I'm not going to put out one piece of evidence that could further inflame and not tell the full story.
Don't shoot him.
He showed the video to Charlotte resident James Mack. He said it did not make the situation any clearer.
You really couldn't see what was going on, but I just feel sad for the family.
Charlotte police will be out in full force again tonight to head off a 4th night of violence. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, Charlotte.
Another curfew will be enforced at midnight, and North Carolina's governor says National Guard troops will remain in Charlotte through the weekend. A Tulsa police officer charged with manslaughter after she shot and killed an unarmed black man is out on bond tonight. Prosecutors charge Officer Betty Shelby with first-degree manslaughter. They say she reacted unreasonably when she shot Terrence Crutcher. An attorney for the officer says his client drew her gun instead of a taser because she thought Terrence Crutcher was armed.
He's speaking out from his hospital bed. A Lexington gas station clerk now paralyzed after being shot 4 times during an attempted robbery. Charles Moore wants to thank the community for their support. Kristen Kennedy has his message and how you can help his family.
Chuck Moore's family isn't surprised that he's making videos from his hospital bed. They say that he is resilient and he is determined to recover.
Everybody knows I'm a Marine, so 4 rounds ain't.
A very brave, very blunt Chuck Moore released this video from UK Hospital.
I really appreciate the support, and I'm doing pretty good.
Moore is now paralyzed from the waist down. His son isn't sure when he'll be able to leave the hospital for home.
He's a strong guy, so he's getting better, but it's still going to be a long road.
Moore's paralysis is from the gunshots he suffered Saturday night. Officers say 3 men robbed the marathon where Moore was working and hit him several times.
I expected the worst, so I'm a lot better than I was when I first heard, because I expected the worst, and I hope for the best, but just expected the worst. To see him sitting up and talking and be strong like that, it gives me hope for the future.
Friends are raising funds for Moore at this gas station tomorrow. Starting at 10 a.m., they will have food, drinks, and a raffle in Lexington. Kristen Kennedy, WKYT.
Police are still searching for the 3 men involved in the marathon robbery. They're also searching for a getaway driver. New details today about a recent rash of robberies in Lexington. Devarius Jones pled not guilty today in court. He's accused of robbing 2 Hibbett stores. Police say he threatened to kill employees. In one of the robberies, police say he also robbed customers at the store. Jones is also charged in a home invasion on Lucille Drive. In that case, police say he held the family at gunpoint. Police are still looking for other suspects. Jones will be back in court on October 3rd.
The all clear has been given after bones were found at a work site in Lexington today. And for most of the morning, police in the coroner's office were investigating the site on US 25 near the Fayette-Scott County line. Police watched the scene until the coroner could arrive. The coroner tells us it appears the bones are from an animal.
Another September sizzler of a day today. Temperatures are around 90 again, and it should be a perfect night out at Lakeside Live at Lexington Green. And that's where we find Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey. He's live for us with an early check of your forecast. Hello, Mr. Bailey.
Yeah, we are out here enjoying a very nice evening out here. I know it's hot across central and eastern Kentucky, but you know what? With that sun getting low on the horizon now, we're in the shade here at Lakeside Live. We've got the River Rats getting ready to take the stage coming up at 6 o'clock this evening, and those temperatures for folks who are out here aren't going to be too bad. As that sun continues to drop, we're going to see those numbers dropping quickly through the 80s, and by the time 9 o'clock rolls around, as we're ready to wrap things up here, we'll be into the upper 70s in many cases. Live look outside, a sun-filled than what we've had over the past few days. Certainly did not impact the temperatures, with many areas heading toward the 90-degree mark. That live sky cam again showing that sunshine, little blue sky. Defender radar network has been dry for the past several days. We're going to try to change that up though as we go into early next week. Short-term forecast for the weekend, we're in good shape. We're heading out to a high school football game this evening as well. Those games, unlike last Friday night, should go off without any problems whatsoever. Yeah, it's going to be a little warm. We're used to that, though. Temperatures around kickoff into the low 80s. We'll drop it into the low and mid 70s by the time we hit the fourth quarter of a lot of those games. But Lakeside Live here at Lexington Green going to be hopping as we go through the evening, not only tonight but tomorrow night as well. So if you kind of can't make it out of here, we'll give you a mulligan. You've got tomorrow night as well. Guys, when I come back here in a little under 10 minutes, we'll focus on that hot weekend. But more importantly, we're going to look ahead to next week and a big blast of fall, finally, that is on the way. We'll see you in just a few.
All right, Chris, and patio sitting tonight is certainly nice.
Excellent.
Well, all week we have been telling you about reports of creepy clown sightings. Many Kentucky police departments putting out warnings to pranksters.
So take a look at this. Middlesboro police following through with an arrest last night. A man dressed as a clown was still in costume when police put the cuffs on him. WKYT's Phil Pendleton has the story.
The suspect is Jonathan Martin, and police say they arrested him about 2 o'clock this morning, and they found him in full clown gear. He was quite literally dressed as a clown from head to toe. Martin was caught with the scary clown costume just outside the Cumberland Village Apartments off Airport Road in Middlesboro. Police say that he was causing a public alarm while being in a public place. Police say he was crouched down in the wood line behind the apartments. When he was spotted, police say he took off running.
I know plenty of people that said that, if something like that, if they were to see something like that, they would, take action against it.
Police say Martin again was captured with this full costume. He had a clown mask, they say, that covered his entire face. In fact, one of his charges that he is facing is wearing a mask or a hood in a public place. People that we spoke with say that they have heard of other clown sightings in this area, but nothing this elaborate. In Middlesboro, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.
And we called the jail, but Martin said he did not want to talk to us about the allegations.
A crime alert tonight in Jessamine County. Do you recognize these men? Find out why police want to talk to them in about 11 minutes.
And Donald Trump picking up a surprising endorsement this afternoon. We'll have the latest from the campaign trail.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Lakeside Live is the place to be on a Friday evening in the Bluegrass. We are out here at Lakeside Live at Lexington Green, just off Nicholasville Road. Come on out and see us, 6 o'clock to 9 this evening. We've got the River Rats getting ready to take the stage behind me. Horns, drums, all kinds of fun instruments they're going to be playing out here tonight. So get on out here if you missed tonight. And we may have some other plans. We get that. You got tomorrow night, too, to get out here and have a little fun. We've been here all summer on the weekends, and we've still got a little summer left in the tank in terms of Lakeside Live. That'll roll our way all the way into October. And you know what? It's not the only thing that continues to be summer-like. The weather out here. We hit 90 into many areas of central Kentucky a little earlier this afternoon. How do we roll into that weekend and over the next 3 days? Forecast as we make our way into Saturday should flirt with 90 degrees at least one more time. Come on, Mother Nature, you got to do a little better. It's fall now, even by the calendar. We'll see temperature again topping out close to 90, mix of sun and clouds out there. Forecast as we make our way into Sunday. It is still a warm one. Winds will increase. You'll see a little more in the way of some cloud cover. Now let's get to Monday. Look what happens on Monday. We get showers and some thunderstorms to increase. Winds are very gusty, and we're going to see a big temperature drop as the afternoon wears on as well. Those numbers may really drop from where you start the afternoon to where you end it. We could be talking about a 15-20 degree drop in just a matter of a few hours. That's that fall cold front that is on the way. It's not showing up right now on your Defender radar network. I've got nothing across central and eastern Kentucky, and that same pattern is going to hang tough as we go through the majority of the next couple of days. Again, Monday will be the day that we slowly begin to change it up. As we walk you through that weekend forecast, those temperatures through the evening and through tomorrow morning will slowly drop. Low and mid 60s out the door early on a Saturday. We go into your Saturday afternoon, 85 to 90 again across most of central and eastern Kentucky. Tomorrow evening, heading back here to Lakeside Live, Commonwealth Stadium, you're going to encounter temperatures dropping through the 70s. We'll wind up into the low 60s on Sunday afternoon, mix of sun and clouds around. Winds begin to pick up. Temperatures again, mid and maybe a few upper 80s. Now look at that Monday forecast. Notice as we go through Sunday night and Monday morning, clouds will increase. You'll see some showers and thunderstorms increasing from the west as well. And as we get deeper into the afternoon, showers and thunderstorms, and watch those temperatures that are much cooler, and we drop it into the 60s. That's behind this big cold front that blows into town on Monday. Showers and thunderstorms out ahead of it, and look at that cooler air coming in behind it. We're going to see temperatures into the middle of next week on that 7-day forecast, mainly upper 60s to around 70 for a high, with the coolest overnight lows we've had since the spring. Many of us could be as low as 45 degrees. So that's right, guys. We are going to cut this number in half. We're near 90 today. We're going to be near 90 tomorrow. By the middle of next week, those lows will be down around 45 degrees. So everybody wishing for fall, hang in there. It's on the way next week.
Sounds like it's coming, Chris Bailey.
Thanks, Chris.
Couple of collisions working. One is at Red Mile and South Broadway. That is a non-injury crash. Another one at North Broadway, just past 7th Street. 2 cars involved in that collision that's blocked.
All right, thank you, Officer Don. A Nobel Peace Prize winner speaking to students in Lexington, but it's not to the crowd you may think. Find out what brought him to an elementary school in about 4 minutes. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump taking a break from campaigning to prepare for their first presidential debate on Monday night. And new poll shows Trump is surging ahead in some battleground states, and he received a surprising endorsement today. Senator Ted Cruz says he will vote Trump for president. It's an about-face after he refused to say so at the Republican convention. Clinton's campaign says this debate is the single most important event leading up to Election Day. An estimated 100 million people are expected to watch Monday night's debate.
A man now faces a murder charge after a deadly crash. Our county-by-county coverage at 5 begins in Clay County. The crash happened last Saturday. According to the arrest citation, Michael Johnson was driving when his car crashed. 2 passengers were thrown from the car. One of them died. Police say Johnson left the scene and later admitted to police he smoked marijuana. Johnson is charged with murder, assault, and leaving the scene of an accident. A crime alert is out in Jessamine County after several cars were stolen overnight. Nicholasville police are looking for these 2 men. Take a look in this. Police say they used a credit card at a gas station that was in one of those cars. 4 vehicles were taken overnight from the Keene Crossing Squire Lake area. Police are also reviewing video from a home security system.
A Nobel Prize winner paid a visit to Maxwell Elementary School today. Human rights activist Kailash Satyarthi was a recipient of the 2014 Nobel Peace Prize for his work in the global campaign to end child slavery. The students had a celebration to honor Satyarthi's work and for the students of Maxwell to showcase his accomplishments.
The personality traits that he has, the love that he has for children, it just made this a really authentic experience. And we're just so grateful for that because we wanted to know that he is just like us and we can be like him.
Satyarthi visited the school because students sent him artwork a few years ago. From this picture, you can tell a dump truck driver had a pretty rough day. Ahead on WKYT News at 5:30, see how he ended up in this tricky situation.
3D technology is offering doctors new ways to help patients with life-threatening cancers. I'll show you how it works next in Better Living. It is time now for Better Living, health, education, and consumer news that impacts your life. A New York woman is grateful to be alive and able to walk. Surgery to remove her rare bone cancer was risky, so doctors tried a new approach. Marley Hall has her story.
A walk in the park is something Sarah Morales won't ever take for granted. Last year, the 34-year-old was diagnosed with a rare bone cancer for the second time.
It was a terrible time, to say the least. It was very, very difficult to go through everything.
Doctors said a tumor in her pelvis could kill her, and the surgical procedure to remove it could put her in a wheelchair. So doctors at NYU Langone Medical Center offered a solution they had never tried before.
We plan a virtual resection or removal that involves this part of the pelvis.
They used three-dimensional imaging based on CAT scans to map out every curve and crevice of Sarah's pelvic bone.
This 3D technology allowed us, for her specific anatomy, to be able to precisely decide where we were going to cut and remove the tumor, and then allow us to accurately reconstruct it.
And avoid damaging blood vessels, tissue, and joints that could affect her ability to walk. Doctors cut out the cancerous part of Sarah's pelvis and replaced it with a piece of her leg bone. 6 months later, Sarah was back on her feet, but she says walking long distances is still tough.
I'm not running any marathons anytime soon, but maybe someday.
She's now exercising and building her stamina for an upcoming dream vacation to Venice. Marley Hall, CBS News, New York.
Doctors first discovered Sarah had cancer in her leg. Scans at the time showed she also had a tumor in her pelvis. One of the world's largest delivery companies is stepping up its drone game. UPS is testing the use of drones to make commercial deliveries to remote locations. It's not all clear skies for drones, though. Newly revised federal regulations don't permit commercial drones to fly over the public. The rules also require operators to remain within the line of sight of the drones. People who are health conscious but love bacon will probably love Panera Bread's new idea. The restaurant chain says it's now serving clean bacon, and it's the first national restaurant chain to have it. Panera says its bacon is made with just 6 ingredients: pork, water, sea salt, sugar, celery powder, and thyme extract. The company says it has removed all of the artificial preservatives and flavors, sweeteners, and artificial colors. Since 2015, Panera says the meat used has been sourced from pigs raised on a vegetarian diet. Now, here's what's coming up for you at 5:30.